Well, hello everybody. It is I, Claude Bowles, and just a little show. I gave a little bit more notice about this one. Once again, we're just short shows, so if you do want to come on, it's always best to come on sooner rather than later. Not that I'm talking of anybody, Peter. So yes, it's been another few weeks since I last came on the show. I'm currently away on holiday, and you've seen the shot that I put up of Australia, which is very, very nice. But I'll be back in Singapore soon. Meantime, the Hovind continues to wreak havoc and ruin the lives and education of people that are foolish enough to listen to him, and some good people who listen to him too. And of course, to give marital advice, which I find absolutely hilarious. The idea that a guy who's been through a roundabout, well, in around about 8 years, four wives, different wives. That's pretty hard to be sort of boasting about it and telling young men what to do and to avoid this and avoid that and avoid women that dress. It's always the women too. You might notice in Kent shows that dress provocatively or do things. It's never the man. It's always these wicked, wicked women, usually atheists, with their makeup and their dresses. And Hovind reminds us that his daddy said, "Oh, if you're not," his daddy always says, "If you're not in business, don't advertise." Great. Oh, hello, Ambushed. Good to see you in the audience. Seeing William Owen be as well. But anybody in the audience, all good. So 420 in the land of the ambushed prostate. Ambushed prostate. I don't know what an ambushed prostate is, but just make sure you don't get one of those terrible women that Kent talks about to take care of it. Um, so, yeah, no, as you know, I was hoping that Sandra Hovind, Mrs. Sandra Hovind, the fourth, might come on sometime. So if anybody has got a contact for her, let her know. The other day in the show, Kent mentioned something about, for some reason, it came up, his sister. And he let slip that he hasn't seen her for years and years and years. Well, we know why, and if pass it on, tell him to give him a call. Well, if he wasn't such an arrogant prick, maybe she would give him a call. Uh, the reason why, because I think I can tell that it is Kent, is that it's everybody. You know, let's go through the list. His brother, his sister, his sister-in-law, his children, his grandchildren, and all the people that go and eventually fall out at Dino Land. That's no good, apostate. You've come down with the sickness. You feel like death and your voice is breaking, but you're listening in. Is it like some sort of a flu or a cold or the other one we're not allowed to mention? Is that what you've got? Because prayer apparently works for. Oh no, it didn't, did it? Yeah, quite a few of those pastors that said that you didn't need, certain things to they end up dying from it. The Wuhan flu or whatever it's known as, or cold. Hopefully, it's just a cold, or because you probably should say it's a flu because you get more sympathy. Okay, Oh, yeah. Yes, good to be positive about the future and look forward to whatever might eventuate. But you know what I've learned? If you're going to make, it's only you can make a positive change in your life and whatever. Only you. I've been in the process of people that there's probably nothing wrong with them, but they're not good for me. So I'm sort of not associating with them anymore. They're probably happy not to see the Claude, and probably best that I don't see them. And so to try and get rid of negative influences in my life, I think there's only one big negative influence, and he's so negative he's turned into a positive, and that's Kent Hovind, because I just so much enjoy showing him up. People say, well, why don't you pick on the local pastor or the preacher or the priest? Well, I know and have known many pastors and preachers, and particularly priests, over the years, but they're not like Kent Hovind. I don't mind. People can have the beliefs and the whatever, but don't lie, and don't try and drag everybody down to your level. And some of these people are even evangelical. They would love for the Claude to see the light, but then, and if anybody I was going to role model after, it would be them. But goodness, why would people model themselves after a true Kent like Hovind? I don't know. Anyway, the one thing, and you might have been able to gather by the title of the show, is that I wanted to get on and talk about Kent's channel. Is it the Kent Hovind channel? Because lately he's been saying, please they took us off of YouTube. We're on all these other ones, Rumble, and but he exaggerates, of course, the figures, or he gets the wrong figure and assumes that's the viewership. Anyway, so he says they took us off of YouTube, but look, a lot of people are putting my stuff up, and please do. And then he's put his hand across his heart. We don't do it. We don't do it. Well, he does do it. He or his minions do it. And I discovered how. I thought, well, this has always been his channel, Dr. Dino. It's called at Kent Hovind Official One. So I clicked on the information, and I saw that the website, drdino.com, and the email address was drdino.com or whatever. All those belong to Kent or his ministry, or are controlled by his minions. They're not unassociated with Kent. And that's why his show comes out live on that channel. And lately, shorts come on that channel too. So, I just don't believe that for a second. And I can't understand why he feels the need to lie about it. It's just, I don't mind him having a YouTube channel. It gives me something to laugh about. So I'm not one of the ones that wants it taken down. Um, that's between up to YouTube or whatever. But when he says it's not his channel and he doesn't really care, he is lying. He cares about YouTube, and it is his channel. That's the thing that I take issue with. Why not be honest? Just say, well, yeah, it is my channel and I'm chancing it. Maybe the good Lord has called me to lie. I don't know. I don't know how he gets around it. Or maybe because I'm once saved, always saved. Yes. So who would know? But definitely, I believe it's his channel. And then if I go further into it, the it's no, it's got his email, it's got all the channels that he's on. So that clearly is his channel. So I don't know. What do you do about a lying bastardo that he is? So I just wish he would be honest. I'm not going to report the thing. I think other people do. At the moment, he's getting away with it. Well, that's his business. Lucky there isn't a God. Lucky there isn't a God, because his God would really do him for lying, I presume. Other things that I've been working on First of all, the other day he had this interview with a woman, someone Lapointe. She's a candidate for the Alabama Congress or whatever, wants to become one. So she's on there, and she's going on about trafficking and the things that happen, terrible things that can happen to children. And Kent's listening and agreeing, but he doesn't tell her anything about his own support for people who were just like that. And he did. So why doesn't he mention people like Chris Jones or Brady Barham? So I took the trouble of taking a clip of her and him and then added other things so that should she or anybody else want to know, they can find the truth about Kent and how he covered up and tried to justify that Jones visited DAL. He brought his own boy with him, like BYO wine or whatever. He was BYO boy, and ended up in accommodation provided. It was actually next door. It wasn't in Dino Land, but that doesn't matter. That's no excuse. Ended up in bed with the boy because supposedly the boy was scared. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've heard that all before. So a guy who's a convicted PDF file should not be getting into having a boy in his bed under any circumstances. Well, and some of his staff tell him that too, and he just tries to make every excuse under the sun. So I'm hoping that aspiring Congresswoman Lapointe gets to see it so she knows the truth. I don't think that Kent's not really endorsement, but being on his show will be of any help to her anyway. So it's a bit of a pity if she is got any redeeming qualities that she gets tainted with his crap. What's William saying here? Oh, the topic tonight, Phantom X, is it doesn't really matter. I was just raging on there about how Kent has lying when he says that he doesn't put anything up on YouTube, or it's not, we don't do it, hand on heart. It's something connected with his organization does it. It's obvious. And it's just his lying. So that's what sparked I've been talking about now. But there could be any topic. We'll go anywhere. If somebody wants to come on, they're welcome to. I've put you'll see the link in the comments every now and then. I put it up. I'll do it again just in case. Now, so Tommy McMurtry's supposed to talk to Kent. Everyone needs to ask him if he's still whatever. Oh, God. I've seen that thing about the pumpkins. I sort of got a bit lost on it. But McMurtry, I've got no time for it as well. He's just another one of these Kenty type, cloney type people. So, yes, William, no, I've got no time for him. But recently, Kent and Joseph were down in Los Angeles, and they appeared on the George Janko, Janko, George Janko show, and we haven't seen it yet. And I desperately wanted to get a message to George. I tried a couple of avenues, but I don't think he got it because I wanted him to, ask Kent some of the tough questions and not just swallow everything that Kent says. So, it's technically not a lie. He doesn't put it up. Joseph does. Yes. The only thing is that he said, we don't do it. He says, I want you to put stuff up. We don't do it. He looks cute and coy, and he clutches his hand to his heart. We don't do it. So the we is the thing. And he implies that it's not their channel. Well, it is their channel. And just, so no one remembers the ice van. Now, that was one. Yeah, he just did recently. He was saying that he wants to see dinosaur adventurelands everywhere, and someone had a mobile type one, and it was a bit like an ice cream van, and you pull up and the kids come running around and you say, hey, do you want to see my dinosaur? Which sounds extremely sus when you say it like that. And then somehow they see a dinosaur, and then they become Christians for the rest of their lives, and their education is ruined, and they probably are lucky to be able to even get a job. Oh, I wasn't. Yeah, I was having trouble spelling George's name. And Curiously says, but he knows it's happening. Yes, you do. Yes, it is. He controls that, and that's why everything. When you look up the details, it all matches Hovind's stuff. So he's just a liar. Anyway, I got very excited about that, and made a couple little things. I called it The Truth. I put it up as a video, and I think I've done it as a short as well. Then he had a thing that he had one or two of these. They looked like a bit imbecilic. They'd been visiting DAL, and he's interviewing them and asking them how great it is, and of course they're not going to say it's horrible or crap. It should also be noted, Crusoe says, that in an old video of his, it was the Dr. Dino channel that Joseph commented on like a year ago. Yeah, so I mean, it's connected. It's just BS. But evidently people have been trying to have it shut down. I don't really care. It gives me something to do, and it's much easier for me to see it than on, go and track it down on Humble. But what I find interesting is why, when people have complained, YouTube's done nothing about it, because before then, YouTube was very, enforced its rules. So it looks as though actually Hovind is getting soft treatment from YouTube. So that would be my guess. He's not being picked on at all. He's getting special and very kind treatment. Yeah. Yep. And Curiosity says the constant lies of you. They do me too, and I must admit, since it's been back on, it's easier than me going to Rumble. You can't comment on any of them. You get your comments taken down. So I like to put them up so that other people, I've never taken one comment down, because even the ones that disagree with me will go, they actually make a fool of themselves. It's great to leave it up. Why would you take this stuff down? But Kent, he does. He takes it down. And that's why he pretends, oh, nobody will come on and debate me. Oh, nobody would. And then he makes a chicken noise. I've never heard a real scientist make chicken noises and squawk, when talking about their expertise. But Kent Hovind does. So that's why, we've all seen a wonderful creationist crybaby, or sometimes known as Big Bad Mama, go on there, and one of the times it was on, he just couldn't get a word, and Hovind kept interrupting, and you could see it as I've put up there, so who was doing the interrupting, and got quite shirty, and yelled at Joseph, "Shut him off! Shut him off! Shut him off, Joseph! Shut him off!" So it's become a standing on joke, I've always heard of it. So why do you think, I mean, he may go on again, but it's pointless, because Hovind stops you speaking, or Joseph stops you speaking, once you start to score any points. So there you go. Yep, Deviant, yes, that's right. He's doing it on behalf of Kent. Yeah. The only thing that I can think of, wouldn't it be funny if, like has happened before, Joseph gets control of the passwords and the bank accounts, and then does what's happened before, and does falls out, and then Kent's got to somehow pay to get them back and all that sort of thing. That's happened, with one of his tech guys. So I would find that highly amusing. If Kent lost control once again. Yeah. Let's have a look here. That's something from William I've put up. And Deviant says, Kent was interviewed on some podcast channel. They took it after, having learned some info about Kent they weren't aware of. Yes, that was probably a week or so ago, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but I know that at least two different people contacted the channel, and because Kent, he's innocent and he's all this sort of stuff. And they actually apprised the channel owners of the truth. You see, I had to go once with one Christian channel who'd interviewed him, and Kent actually made the statement, this is the claim he made, that he had majored in math and science. I majored in math and science. So I, in the chat, said to them, ask him where he majored in math and science. And I wasn't thinking of the diploma mill where he bought his doctorates. I wasn't getting at that. That's just as bad, but it's slightly different. But just ask him, because he certainly didn't major in math and science even at the diploma mill, because his worthless degrees are in something called Christian education. I don't know what that is, counting the number of burning bushes or whatever. So that's what happened. and I've lost my train of thought where I was going with that. Yes, his degrees. So just ask him. Well, Kent got all shitty and didn't answer. Oh, that's it. It's not an attack against the person. Just tell me where, which university did he major in math and science? Well, the answer is he didn't major in math and science. He didn't. He had no qualifications whatsoever to teach math and science. So why does he lie about that? If he just said, I'm interested in science, he can say that. I love science all he likes, because people love a lot of things, doesn't mean they're good at it. But as soon as he claims qualifications, I want to know. I need to buy my subscribers back from Joseph. Hovind. Yes, I like that. Majored in sass and violence. My namesake, Claude Bowles, says, I think you should change that spelling to bowels, because that's what Kent calls me, cloudy bowels. And Kurisu quite rightly says he majored in baloney. Yep. Or, we'd say, because I have some English connections as well, and they have a wonderful word in England. Some of my British family use it, called bollocks. Bollocks, it means total rubbish or nonsense. I don't know if you know it in America, but as far as I'm concerned, he majored in bollocks. It's a wonderful word. If somebody's saying something that's a whole lot of shit, you just say bollocks. I'll spell it in there. Oh, you've got it. Yeah, Curisu's got it there. It's a wonderful. It's like the British use a word for having, shall we say, a sexual liaison, and doing the deed. They call it bonking. I think it's a wonderful word, bonking. But it also can mean other things, like if you're crazy, you can say he was bonking mad. Doesn't mean he was madly bonking. But yeah, it's very hard to explain. Hi, says spooky bed hair. Oh dear. Oh, Claude, that's very good. I've got Claude Bowles now, so that's a much better spelling, because apparently I just just talk a load of shit. Well, I maybe do sometimes. I don't know. Now to go into the next little thing, I'm just great if you know, I get confused, especially when I'm holding the show together, trying to hold it together. I'm keeping a bit of an eye on the chat as well. Chat, not the chap, as well as that. Yes, I've got a short up called Hovind Dirty Deeds, and it was somehow, he wasn't being very honest, and I patched that together with another clip from a few years ago, where he was instructing Chris Jones. He said, look, I've got a wild idea, Chris. He says, I want you to make up anonymous accounts or false accounts, and I want you to attack my wife, Cindy, online. Now, I normally wouldn't stick up for Chris Jones at all, but to his credit, he refused to do it. But you can tell that someone else would have, or Kent would have done it himself. So, and Kent says to Chris Jones, say that Cindy isn't qualified to be in ministry because she's been divorced twice. Now, that means Kent's now been divorced 4 times. Does that mean he's not qualified for ministry? Well, yes. So what the hell is he doing in ministry? Anyway, so he says that, the great hypocrite. He says, I'm not going to take my children to DAL until Cindy's removed. So he's paralleling the people saying that they're not going to go to DAL till Chris Jones is not there. And of course, the two things are just unbelievably separate. An argument with his wife, totally different to a person who's convicted of, so we say, offences against minors. So, but that's what the prick is like. So I found Claude is holding his bollocks. Yes, well, occasionally I do, if I get a big fright or whatever. Occasionally I get them twisted by different people. We won't go into that. And so that's the dirty deeds thing. And then his channel trickery, that's about him saying that he's not he doesn't, have anything to do with the channel. Another one, Kent Hovind, alcohol expert, that got quite a few words and views. And that's where he says, yeah, thanks, Curious. No problem. See you again another time. It's just a last minute thing, and my shows are pretty short anyway, so no problem. Yes, so the one about the alcohol, he says, well, the Bible, why? He never drank alcohol, but except some medicine that might have had some alcohol in it. He never had alcohol, and that the Bible wine was non-alcoholic. Well, what a stretch that is. See, there's just no evidence of that whatsoever. And why do you think they drank wine in the Bible? Because the water was probably not the best. So some of the fermentation helped. Of course, they would drink some water. I'm not suggesting they never drank water at all. But to say it's grape juice, that's just a bullshit. That's a bollocks thing. And Kent's just plucked that out of his rear end to say that. And because of his own wowserism or wankerism or whatever you want to call it. So, no, wine in the Bible was wine. Oh, hello, Claude. Claude, hello, Claude. No, hi, Big Bad Mama. Good to see you. See you too. I think I must be losing the plot. Yes, so I really got a bit irritated about that because once again, just don't lie. There's no need to make this shit up. And, if Bible wine was an alcoholic, why did people get drunk in the Bible? But they did. So what were they drinking? Whiskey? Of course it was, it was alcoholic wine. It defies belief, The other thing I've noticed is that lately is that he's been reading stuff out, and I just find it so funny because he criticized someone else once for, look, they're just reading. They're reading off a script. Well, here he is doing the same, just reading word for word, not understanding a blind thing. I think that was about apes. Bits and pieces like that. And DNA, he was asked about DNA to explain DNA. And he goes, well, it's deoxynucleic acid. And so he names what it is, but he doesn't explain what it is. And then he just says, oh, it's really complex. Well, yeah. Any fool can say it's really complex, can't they? Gosh, unbelievable. Have Big Bad Mum, I just want to ask you, have you been out on your, what do you call them in America? Rambles or hikes or tramps? Tramping is, I think you can't say, in certain parts of it, in Australia, they say, I'm going for a tramp or a hike. But if you say you're going for a tramp in America, I think it means you're going for a lady of ill repute, which Kent Hovind's father would not have approved. Or various of his different prophets that he reads. Hello, Soot. How are you? Good to see you there in the chat too. So yeah, the other one was Mr. Hovind Always Right. I put one up because I think it's just so amusing that never done anything wrong. All his wives are at fault. The whole family I don't know why the whole family have turned on him. I do hope he gets his underwear back, though. I think that will remove one one thing that he will stop going on about, because he's been on about the things that Eric supposedly stole. Oh, so you're going up to Northern California. Right, so I suppose that's quite a long way, but you're staying on the same coast if you do that. So yeah, not. I was hoping you might drift over towards Dino Land or even Florida. You could pick up Missing Maud and you could do a jaunt to Dino Land. I'm sure they've got twin cabins there. You could stay and have a great time, praising the Lord and donating to Kent. Did you see the latest one where he's saying that a one-legged vet gave him $2,000 and he was able to take it straight down to the lumber yard and 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 give it no, he only needed another 3,000, so he couldn't be satisfied with it. He still needs another 3,000. Never ending quest. I felt sorry because it's a vet who's probably worked hard for his money, and having it, pissing it away on Kent is not my idea of of good use of that. So yeah, I feel. And then there was some laughing afterwards for some reason. So I did make a short of it where I did emphasize and repeat the laughing just to create a point. Yes, you should go and visit Maud up there. Yeah, that would be very, very interesting. Very interesting. We'd have to do a report. Yeah. I thought that most vets had four wheels. Oh, take your dog man costume when you visit Maud. Yeah, Maud does like the dog thing. I'm meaning the dog man. I'm sorry. You got to be careful. I don't. Yeah, because there's only one position approved in the Bible, as we know, and that's the missionary one. That's God's preferred option for his flock. Nothing too original or spicy or different. Yeah. I might be barking up the wrong tree there. Oh dear. What else has been going on? I put a couple of clips of this great Irish comedian, Dave Allen, up. He's just so funny. If you haven't looked at that, make sure you look. He's so clever. Whatever. And I've also said I'm just sick of him saying that atheism is a religion where it's actually no religion, and to try and sort of word salad something and win that way is just utter bullshit and stupidity. So no wonder Kent tries it, but atheism isn't a religion, and there's no definition of atheism in any proper form of dictionary or whatever that would say that it was a religion. It just isn't. So there we go. Pretty well said that straight. What else has been happening? Oh, that was quite a bit earlier. He blamed evolution for war, and he was going on and on about the Japanese, and just drives me crazy. Any other things? I haven't been on Gigi's show for a while. I've been removed as a moderator, so I've obviously pissed someone off there. So, well, never mind. These things happen, and I'm not going to sacrifice my principles, on certain things. I believe that violence can come from the left and violence can come from the right. It's not a prerogative of one particular side. And I am equally upset by the deletion of one political religious figure by the name of Kirk as I am about the deletion of another political figure, and Christian too, by the way, Hortman. So they're both from different sides of the spectrum, both ended up being shot, and both are appalling. So I'm going to condemn both, and I will do that forever. So there's no way around that as far as I'm concerned. Look, in a few minutes, I probably will knock off the stream unless anybody does want to come on now, because I've been talking to myself for 35 minutes, and I'm not like Maud. Maud can talk and talk just on her, and then brings people on later, but I can't. I just can't talk as much. Yes, so hi, Captive Desk. I'm just going to put the one more time. I'll just put the link up just in case anybody wants to come on and gossip. Yes, I will probably speculate now as to, as Kent does get increasingly relying on reading stuff word for word, can't sort of think on his feet. But, as you've noticed, I can't always either. So he's reading word for word, and he's getting confused more and more. And that is who is going to take over Dinosaur Adventureland. And my money now is on Joseph. For a while, I thought it would be Matt Powell, or that at least Matt might marry Kent. But that wasn't to be, and he left. And so I think, I don't think it would be Matt Powell. And then I thought it might be Stephen Boland, but I think Stephen has sort of upset Kent too many times, like in the past. He's a sort of flip-flopper. And so I don't think Kent quite, would be ready to do that. And now I think it's going to be Joseph, whatever the second, whatever name he calls himself, because Kent has become totally reliant on him. And it's sort of like, yes, Joseph, no, Joseph. Oh, I was right on that, wasn't I, Joseph? Or talks to Joseph's wife. You talk to Sandra. You know that I didn't do anything wrong. Did I do anything wrong? Oh, Joseph, you're a trustee of the ministry. So trustee of the ministry. Well, we know he's had a checkered career as far as trustees of the ministry goes. He's had that guy Brady Byram, who sort of believed in, shall we say, keeping it in the family, but not in a good way. He's had a few interesting, so we say, trustees who then disappeared because he's then had that vitamin guy. I think the new vitamin guy might be a trustee as well. The old vitamin guy, Sadi Bill, he expired from a certain respiratory illness. I don't know if I told you that before because, I do get forgetful, but I actually had an email conversation with Bill, and Bill told me what his thoughts were if you were to come down with that respiratory illness in the pandemic. So he told me what to do, and I actually, believe it or not, this is confessions. I bought some of it. I thought, well, it can't hurt to have some of this stuff. It was basically for if you got a cold sore. And I thought, well, if I ever get it, I'll try it. But anyway, the next thing is our bill expires. So obviously that particular medication didn't work, clearly. And it wasn't any conspiracy or anything. It just was bollocks, to use a word that I've used earlier there. So for my one where I'm clipped out when he's giving this marriage advice, I've put in the little subtitle, Christian advice from a pastor with 4 PhDs and 4 marriages. So that's 4 of each. Now, I did notice recently, and I don't know if it's the same, because Kent is a big into Bible numbers for different things. I did notice that one of my shows had, and it still has, the Kent Hovind Marriage Mayhem, it's called, a short. And I say Dr. Four Wives and Counting. Well, on 666 views. So that's that very, very, isn't that demonic number? Something like that. So I do hope that some sort of demon doesn't come along and give me an ST demon. I don't want one of those. So yeah, let's hope that isn't the case. But 666 views, you're not allowed to look at it because it'll then go to 667. It won't be quite the same. But yeah, it's still up there. And it's got 666 views. So I've took a screenshot of it. So I've got to keep that in the record. Well, I won't keep on going on and boring everybody. I will now take my leave and enjoy the rest of the day on my little holiday. It's a beautiful day, and very hot. And I hope to do some outdoor walking like Big Bad Mama. If I show you pictures and there's gum trees in it, you can work out where I am, but it's more than a koala can bear. Oh, well, that was bad. It's bad as one of the Kent's jokes. Yeah, so I'll spend a bit of time outside and enjoying life and just keeping an eye on the great charlatan, Kent Hovind, and showing what's going on. Just Deviant just said something. I'll be honest, I won't go on a show where the victimization and violence towards vulnerable minorities is being celebrated. Yeah, I agree. I don't have children. All I'll leave behind when I leave this world is my fingerprint on the internet. And the world won't remember me as one who kept quiet when I saw an injustice. Yeah, it's a very good point, Deviant. Yeah. And I'm not, I'm all for having joke around and funny, but some things you can tell that people are not being funny. It's not a joke. They are just horrible people. And we're not going to have that there. I suppose you're getting ready for Christmas, Deviant. Eh? Yeah. So I'll be having to play some Christmas songs, including the one by your fellow countrymen from Sweden, the best Christmas song ever, in my humble and totally unbiased opinion. Oh, I'm sounding like Kent there. But it is. I've been listening to him singing some other songs in Swedish too. And, oh my God, just an absolutely stunning voice of Mr. Jussi Björling. Oh, now what is that? I will, Spooky. Hi, Deviant, Dave, and Claude. So I have to go back and see what Spooky has. Take your dogman costume when you visit Maud, Big Bad Mama. What about your Bodman costume? I've seen you on some of your rambles, Big Bad Mama, and you do have a physique, and gravity has not seemed to have affected it. Gravity has got hold of my chest and pulled it down to my stomach, but gravity, you have not been ravaged by it. And when you swim and stuff, it's good. So I think you probably are either wearing your bodman costume or already you have a man bod. Yeah, only you can tell us which that is. So BBM, Deviant Outcast, says hello. You should come on and you can say hello to them just for 5 minutes, BBM, before I shut the old thing down. If you'd like to, I'll just ramble for 5 minutes in case somebody does come on. I want it to all be over up there. Come on, Claude. Big Bad Mama doesn't want to be chained up in Maud's basement. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know, because you look at his rambles and he's leaping up rocks and blah, blah, blah. And I would imagine there's quite a bit of pain involved. And it probably wouldn't be too much different in Maud's basement. I think you'd be chained up against the wall, probably hanging by your arms, which then would become ape-like after, which is another proof of evolution. BBM doesn't want to be chained up in mod space. Well, you don't know. That's the funny thing. That is the funny thing. Sometimes people do have this wish to, and we've heard it with Steven Anderson, haven't we? Who would have thought that he was into S&M? But he is, apparently, according to his kids. And they grew up listening to all these noises coming from the bedroom, thought their mother was being tortured, or he was in whacks and thwacks and electrical cords, and it was just him and her having it off. So, yeah. I think Kent's a bit of sadist more than a masochist, but I think he is. He gets very excited about people, and he's saying that God wouldn't put you in prison or anything. You should be either beaten, or executed, or I forget what the other thing is, but not put in jail. There should be no jails. What a load of rubbish. How could it possibly be? I do. Yeah. Come on, Claude. BBM doesn't want to be chained up in Rod's basement. Yes, I'm not so sure. And he's not here to defend himself. He's remained remarkably quiet. So, I think an educated guess would that he may want to experiment. And who am I? Who am I to criticize or laugh at that or poke fun? Not, I'd be the last person to say anything if he was to confess to that sort of a predilection. I would just take it in my stride. I'd never pass it on to anybody, would I? No. So, well, I don't think anybody is going to come on, so I will say goodbye, adios, au revoir. Some Japanese something. I'm thinking of going to Japan at some stage. I haven't been there. I don't know if anybody here has been. I'd like to go there. Yeah. Well, that is right, but yeah, maybe outdoorsman, so chained up in a dank basement. It does. Yes, I would agree. It's uncharacteristic. That is for sure. It's not characteristic. Of course, it could be an elaborate plot, to put us off the scent. I just can think of so many things. I'm a great comer up. I'm just about as good as Kent at coming up with excuses for anything. Okay, so Claude is about to go, and thank you for those that have been in the chat. And I will be doing the Christmas show, but have a good festive season up until then. And just remember, one of the most important things is truth. Just keep it in mind, and it's not subjective; it's objective too. Okay, Claude over and